Yes, very good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have given you an assignment or a problem in the last session regarding that the Laplace equation and use the variable separable method to derive its solution over a rectangular region R. Okay. So anyone have tried? So if you did not give a try, how do I know that where you are facing the difficulties? Because the method is similar. Okay, you have to incorporate the conditions appropriate manner. Okay, and you have to come up with the final solution. Okay, so you have to give it a try. We have done with the wave equation. We have done with one-dimensional heat equation. So Laplace equation you could have done at your own. Okay, so let's go further then. Okay, so this is still pending with you. Okay, you are supposed to work with this. Okay, and derive this final solution. Okay, the method is similar as I told. Okay, right. So these things I'm just skipping now. Okay, so we are going to work now with the one-dimensional heat equation with power of infinite length. Okay, so infinite length means there is no end, neither on the left side or nor on the right side. Okay, means that bar is of infinite length, means like you have you maybe you can understand this like a infinite doesn't mean that uncountable, you cannot do count, but it may be countable, but it is keep on going on, the length is keep on going on, means unit, it may keep on going on. Okay, you can if you talk about a global some pipeline. Okay, so you will understood like a pipeline of a gas. Okay, which is joining some of the two countries and so on. Okay, those type of things you can consider them as a bar of infinite length or pipelines of infinite length. Though they certainly have some length, but infinite length is they have very large length. Okay, that's what that infinity concept is. Okay, how large it is we don't know. Okay, right. So but certainly if some gas is passing or some or liquid is passing, and it should maintain with some temperature, so heat will be there. So automatically this heat model will come into the picture there. Okay, and if you are specific regarding the problem, okay, accordingly the equation also may change. Okay, so right now we are only in some of the very restricted mathematical assumption. Okay, so that our PD is not that much complicated. Okay, so PD is not that much complicated, and which can means we can address some issues regarding this. Okay, like we have done already. If it is of finite length, we have seen that's a variable separable method and Fourier series solution. Okay, so but for infinite length, what you will do? Okay, so that's now our goal to see. Okay, right. So obviously, when the bar is of infinite length, there will not be any boundary condition. So earlier you would have an you had the boundary condition like u at 0 comma t is at some at 0 comma t is equals to 0 at equals to some u at l comma t. It's homogeneous Dirichlet's condition, you can say. Okay, but or you would have means like limit x tends to infinity u at x comma t is 0. Okay, that we have seen such type of boundary condition. Such type of this is not a boundary condition. Okay, this is some condition means like the vibration is flattened at the end. Okay, so this is not the part of heat equation. Okay, so certainly if there is no ant either on the left or nor on the right, so there will not be any such boundary condition involved. Okay, minus infinity and this plus infinity, we don't know how large it is. Okay, maybe possibly the initial condition may be given that that maybe u at x comma 0 at type t equals to 0. What is the initial curve? Maybe you can represent it f of x. Here x is minus infinity, less than x, less than infinity. And t is a time variable, so t is definitely greater than equals to 0. Okay, so here it is no t, yes, t is greater than 0. And minus infinity less than x less than infinity. So this is what the problem here. Okay. Now, okay, you could have means like we could again debate like why can't we start with the variable separable method? Yes, of course we can do that, but where are the challenges that we have to address? Okay, so again, if you proceed with the variable separable method in the similar fashion, okay, so means you have the following ut equals to some c square uxx, right? C square, yes, fine. Okay, so and you have this is t greater than equals to 0 minus infinity less than x less than infinity. Most of the time also you will see that this equation is valid for t greater than 0, and you have that initial condition is u at x comma 0, it's some f of x minus infinity, okay, minus infinity less than x less than infinity. Okay, now as just now mentioned, we can also start with the variable separable method. Like I propose this will be the possible solution like f of x times g of t. So what will happen now? So you will have this is if you replace it here, so what you will get is f of x times dg by dt equals to c square. I'm just writing f double dash of x means second derivative with respect to x times g of t. So what it will give you is again you will have the following. So dg by dt. Okay. So dg by dt 1 by c square g is equals to f double dash of x divided by f of x. Again, following the same concept, you will equate with a constant k. Okay. Now, this will again lead to two ordinary differential equations. Okay. In a similar fashion, so we have one equation is f second derivative
Hello, sir.
x. Yes, hello.
Your screen is not visible.
Okay. Just a second. Oh, it has gone. Sorry. Now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I have written so far, I think what we have missed, this is we have proposed that possibly variable separable method will be applicable. I have started with the Possible solution is the product of two functions, which like one is function of x only, another is function of t only. Substitute it. Okay. Now you are good enough to in directly substitution. Okay, that what is ut and what is uxx. Okay, now if you substitute, you will have this, and again you rewrite the above thing, you'll get this, and then one side is a function is a purely is a function of x, it looks like another is a function of t only. So it is only possible when both side equals to constant. Okay, so now this is the what this will give you is this will lead to two ordinary differential equations. One equation is you have minus k time f of x equals to 0, and another equation is dz by dt minus k times c square g equals to 0. Now this k is a constant. K is any real number. It could be negative, it could be 0, it could be infinity. No, not infinity. It could be positive number. Okay, k less than 0, k equals to 0, or k is greater than 0. Only three possible cases. Now, but if you look at the solution of this equation, this second equation, what it will be is going to be g of t is equals to some constant time. Okay, some constant time e to the power, right, k c square t, right? It's a first order differential equation. Okay, very standard one. Okay, you can find out integrating factor and substitute in the final solution. Now here we can decide something about the constant k. Okay, what it tells you is that k can never be greater than 0. It is not possible. Why it is so? I'm saying there are three possibilities, right? K is less than 0, k equals to 0, k is greater than 0. K greater than 0 is not possible. I'm just mentioning here. What is the problem? Yes. Yeah. So G becomes diverging. Means if K is positive, the temperature is going high and high and high as T is increases. And that situation is not appropriate. Okay. For us. Okay. So this is why this case is rejected. Okay. Because C square is anyway positive. If K is positive as T increases, G is tending to infinity if A is a positive number. Okay, if A is a negative number, it's tending to minus, but it's still saying diverging or is diverging, or you can say converging to an infinity number. So this is why k greater than 0 cannot be possible. So this is why you can choose k equals to some minus p square. I'm just matching with my further notations. Okay, says p is not the p. Okay, dou z by dou x. Okay, this p is the real number. Okay, right. So so now what is the solution of this now? This is also, it is easy to grab now. Okay, so now if k is equals to minus p square, you have f second derivative at x plus p square f of x is equals to 0. Right now, what is this? Means you can identify what is the auxiliary equation, what are the roots plus minus ip, and so what is the final solution? F of x equals to some a time cos px plus b time sin px. Okay, so this is a arbitrary constant. You can somewhere you can name that something. Okay, some a tilde. Okay. So you have now solution. So what is ux comma t? Okay, is again one parameter is there again p. Okay, so I'm just putting here p. Okay, earlier we were having this at here un, right? But so far we don't know whether p is integer or p is not, if p is a natural number or p is a real number, rational number, irrational number. Okay, so this is why I have put there is a separate one. It's not a variable. Okay, it's a semicolon. Okay, and then you are having p. That's going to be f of x into g of t. That's going to be, you have a time cos of px plus b times sine of px. That's f of x into g, that is z is exponential of or e to the power minus p square c square t, right? Yeah, some arbitrary constant. So that arbitrary constant is adjusted here. Okay, a tilde is there, so a tilde into a and a tilde into b. So these are generic constants, so that can be adjusted here. Moreover, these constants could be depending on p. Okay, means it may differ, means if you different p, this a and b will be different. Okay, so this is why we can also treat them a as a function of p and b also as a function of p. Okay, now since we don't know that whether p is a natural number or p is an integer, we don't know. Okay, p is a purely is a real number, what we can say. Okay, so you can't put summation now. You cannot use a superposition principle. Okay, what you can do now? What we have done from Fourier series to Fourier integral, you have, if you look at back, okay. So when you don't have that concept, what you had used, you have just I am just going to give you that the final solution will be is integration. What is p value is from 0 to infinity. 0 to infinity, that's summation. Okay, that's f of x into g of t, that is these bracket terms, e to the power minus p square c square t dp. Okay, a of p. So I'm just going to fill it up. A of p cos of px plus b of p times sine of px. You can say that this is a continuous version of Fourier series, right? We have seen that. Now, if you have initial condition, you can certainly find out what are those a of p and b of p also. Okay, right. So, so this is how you can generate a solution for a heat equation where you are having bar of infinite length. Okay, let's go further and what you can see here is further. If I have this initial condition, I'm just going to give you initial condition is u at x comma 0 equals to f of x minus infinity less than x less than infinity. So then this above one, what it will give you at t equals to 0. Okay, that will give you, this implies f of x equals to integration 0 to infinity a of p time cos px plus b of p time sine of px dp. Now, if you go back and check your Fourier integral concept, okay, so if you recall, A of P is 1 upon pi integration minus infinity to infinity f of v cos of uh, cos of PV dV, and B of P is equals to 1 upon pi integration minus infinity to infinity f of v time sine of PV dV. So sine corresponding sine integral and corresponding to cosine integral A of P and B of P will be given. They are coefficient of cos and sine respectively. Okay, so you could derive both the arbitrary concept now. So finally you have A of P expression, you have B of P expression. Okay, and now what you can do is you can substitute here. Okay, what you will get is you can have another representation of the solution. Means you have the A of P and you have value of B of P. Okay, you can substitute in U of X of T. What it will give you is finally U of X comma T is equals to integration 0 to infinity. You have A of P times cos of Px, right? So A of P is what 1 upon pi is common. Okay, so what you have is integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of P cos of PV dV time cos of Px plus integration minus infinity to infinity f of V sine of PV dV times sine of Px dP. Okay, now this you can rewrite further. Okay, now you are going to use, I hope you have got an idea. What we are going to use is cos A cos B and sin A sin B formula, like cos A cos B plus sin A sin B, because f of V is common to both. Okay, so because this is independent of V, so you can take it inside. So 1 upon pi integration 0 to infinity. Okay, so you have integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of V time. You can further rewrite in the simple cos PV cos Px plus sin PV sin Px. Okay, dV and dP. Now you can recall your cos A cos B plus sin A sin B is cos A minus B. You can further rewrite that's equals to 1 upon pi integration 0 to infinity integration minus infinity to plus infinity f of V time cos of P time V minus X PV minus, because cos A minus B, cos of A minus B is cos A cos B plus sin A sin B dV and dP. Cos, I think we have missed e to the power, that is missed here, e to the power minus p square c square t. Here also e to the power minus p square c square t dp. Yeah. Okay. So into e to the power minus p square c square t dp. So this is the final one. Okay. So when you have the initial condition at u at x comma 0 is f of x. So you have now all the information, you can do this. Okay. Right. So we have done this. So I think I have explained each and everything here. So what is more important here is it is not necessary to assume f to be periodic here. because you are using Fourier integral instead of Fourier series. Okay, if you recall, you have to recall those concepts. Okay, you can revise them. You have already have the lecture link as well. Okay, you can go and check with that. So I've already explained this. So this is all done. Yeah. So this is what the final expression what I have given. So we have arrived your final solution now. So you now you can look at here this example and where this f is given. Okay, it's a very simple example. Of course, you are supposed to memorize this. Okay, you're supposed to memorize this formula, or else you have to derive this formula. Okay, there are only two ways. Okay, so find the temperature in the infinite bar if the initial temperature is given to you between mod x less than 1, u naught constant, and 0 otherwise. So this is given by this. Means you have to replace, if you know this formula, you have to replace this f of v. You know, f of v is 0 whenever mod x is greater than, means whenever you have minus infinity to minus 1 and 1 to infinity. So you have whenever this point f of v is 0. Otherwise, between minus 1 to 1, u naught. You just replace it and this is fine. Okay. Right. So do you have any question? Okay, if you don't have any question, we can proceed further. So the next, this example can also be solved by Fourier transform. So, but right now I have not introduced it. So we are postponing it. Before going to Fourier transform, I will just first I wish to uh, give you the classification of second order PD when you will say it is a hyperbolic or elliptic or parabolic. So there are three ways to classify the second order PD. Okay. So when you have heat equation, wave equation, and Laplace equation, there are three type of uh, partial differential equations. One of them is hyperbolic, one of them is parabolic, and one of them is elliptic. Okay. And again, you may ask that why it is so. Okay, because their solution will be of this, that nature. Okay, so okay, so now okay, so now so any second order PD can be written in the following form. Okay, any second order PD can be written in the following form. Means here means it's a very, again, it's a very special PD. It's a linear in, you can say it is a linear PD in second order different derivatives. Why I'm telling you is because you have this A coefficient, B coefficient, C coefficient. These are allowed to be functions of X and Y only. If you involve here U as well, it is not a linear one. This is what I mean. The second, it's a linear in second order derivatives, I'm saying. Okay. So, and so we are going to classify a very special case of second order PD again. So it's not a, means it's a linear in second order derivatives. Means you have the power of uxx, uxy, and uyy is 1. Further, you don't have any u involved in any of this stuff. Okay, u or any of its derivatives. Okay, nothing is allowed. So it's a linear in second order derivatives, left hand side. Okay, right hand side could be a non-linear in first order derivatives. Okay, doesn't matter. Ux square, uy square, u into ux or u into uy, doesn't matter. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on the left side where all the only second order derivatives present. Okay, and then you have to look at all the coefficients carefully. If they are only functions of x and y, then only you can discuss. Okay, and what will once you classify it, okay, that it's a hyperbolic or elliptic or parabolic, that's I'm going to give you the definition soon. Then it will also suggest you a transformation, possible transformation. Okay, that will suggest you a possible transformation which will lead to a simple equation which you can solve. Like you have seen in the wave equation, D'Alembert solution. Okay, if you go back and check your D'Alembert solution, what he has done is UTT equals to c square uxx. He has just taken the transformation v equals to x minus ct and v w equals to x plus ct, and then substitute and get the equation. If you transform it, all the things, if you are done carefully, you had only arrived with the simple equation uvw equals to 0. That's a canonical form. Okay, which you are able to solve easily. Okay, so this classification will suggest you a transformation which will transform the equation, original equation, in a very simple form. That's what it means. Okay, that's fine. So let's go further. So you can also see here 2b. Okay, so that means that we are going to work with a discriminant. Okay, so if you go back and check, this is I'm just b square minus ac. Okay, okay, so you are going to check the sign of this. Okay, for all function, for all values of x and y, if it is positive, if it is negative, or if it is equals to 0. You have to only do. So discriminant, if you what do you understand by discriminant? If you recall, you have the quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. You are definitely looking at the discriminant b square minus 4ac. And I'm writing here b square minus ac. Why? Because here you have already taken 2b. So if you don't, if you this is 4b square minus 4ac, then it's going to be 4 times b square minus ac. So 4 will not change the sign. Okay, 4 is a positive number. If you multiply positive, it will not change the sign of this number. Okay, so either what you can do is either you work with b square minus ac, or if you don't want to get in this 2 times b, you certainly consider this b and then you can discuss with b square minus 4 ac. Okay, either ways. Okay, so I have told you. Okay, so you can relate this with the discriminant of this quadratic equation b square minus 4ac, where you don't involve this 2 times b. If you involve this 2 times b, then you are expecting b, so you are going to work with b square minus ac. You have to keep in that mind. Okay, right. So let's see how it will decide that. Okay, that what is the nature of this PD. Okay, right. So these types of PDs are called quasi-linear. I have told you, because second order derivatives, it is a linear in second order derivatives. It may not be linear in first order derivative. So this type of PDs are quasi-linear. Okay, so you are going to say the above PD is hyperbolic, parabolic, or elliptic based on this observation. Okay, so you have here AC minus B square, AC minus B square. I can also work with B square minus AC. Okay, so that's very, so greater than 0, hyperbolic. Okay, greater than 0, hyperbolic. B square minus AC equals to 0. Okay, is parabolic. Okay, say that equation is parabolic. Okay, and if it is less than 0, b square minus ac is less than 0, then we say is elliptic. Now that choice is yours in which way you want to proceed. The AC minus B square or B square minus AC. So accordingly, that's definition will change. So if you go with the B square minus AC here, okay. So then greater than 0 here will come greater than 0, here will come less than 0. Okay. So either way you can check. Okay. So now you can check with the heat equation, wave equation, and Laplace equation. Let's do it. Okay. So we have learned this wave equation. First, we have seen the wave equation. So that is utt equals to c square uxx. I may be able to write it in the simple form. C square uxx equals to 0. Okay. Now, if you compare a uxx plus 2b. Now here, instead of y, you have t. uxt plus c time utt equals to f of x comma t comma u comma ux comma ut. If I'm rewriting above, okay, so then it certainly gives me a equals to minus e square, b equals to 0, and c equals to 1. So what is b square minus ac? Is equals to, so 0 minus 1 into minus c square. So that's going to be c square greater than 0. So I told you b square minus ac is greater than 0 means it's a hyperbolic. If you work with ac minus b square, it is less than 0, hyperbolic. Okay, so I told you you can work with b square minus ac. Then you have to check the sign, greater than 0 hyperbolic, less than 0 elliptic, equal to 0 parabolic. If you work with AC minus B square, less than 0 hyperbolic, greater than 0 elliptic, equals to 0 parabolic. Okay. Now let's look at the heat equation. That is ut equals to c square uxx. Okay. I can write it in c square uxx equals to ut. Now if you compare, I'm not writing again that standard equation. A equals to c square, b equals to 0, c equals to also utt coefficient is also 0. Okay, so this will imply b square minus ac equals to 0 means it's a parabolic. Now let's talk about now Laplace equation. That is uxx plus uyy equals to 0. This is a steady two-dimensional heat equation. Steady means ut is 0. Now, if you compare A is equals to 1, B equals to 0, C equals to 1. So this implies B square minus AC is equals to minus 1. That is less than 0. This implies this is elliptic. Now, I hope you get an idea that why these only specific equations are mentioned in the syllabus itself. Okay. That because they are the prototype of all these three type of PDs, hyperbolic, parabolic, and elliptic. Okay. Moreover, we will also see once you know the way of determining the canonical form of second order PD, that will also come down, means when you go with the transformation, that will come down to one of this. Okay, so this is why it is important to study these three equations. If you have studied in depth these three type of different PDs, okay, you will be able to handle any complicated PD in further your research or whatever. Okay, right. So let's now maybe we will see how we will identify the canonical form. corresponding. Okay. So it again based on its prototype. Okay, means it's hyperbolic, then you have way. If you have parabolic, then you have different way. And if you have elliptic, you have one different. So let's discuss one by one. Okay. So this is called the characteristic equation. What is this? This is y you treat as a function of x. Okay. Y dash is what dy by dx. Then you may ask that y is and x and are independent variables and so on. So this is true. Okay. Here in the original equation, x and y are independent variables. But this is a characteristic equation. Okay, which solving that, okay, you will be able to get the corresponding transformation. So it is here uxx is replaced by y dash square, uxy is replaced by y dash, and uyy is 1. Okay, so right hand side is put it 0. So this is how you can get the characteristic equation. And now this again, this is we are talking about the quasi-linear second order PD. Okay, we are talking about quasi-linear. Okay, we are talking about quasi-linear second order PD. We are talking about this. Means where the right hand side, where the left hand side is involved A, B, and C are functions of x and y only. So now you have an equation of ordinary differential equation, first order ordinary differential equation involving x and y only. So which you can solve. Okay, so this is called the characteristic equation for the for Tabo equation. Then you will have two solutions. Okay, so you will have this is a quadratic equation, right? So you can definitely solve. You have this is C. If you write down, if you use that quadratic equation formula, what is y dash? Y dash equals to minus b side 2b plus minus square root of 4b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, 4ac. Okay, so this 2 will get cancelled. This 4 will come out with this. So you have y dash equals to b plus minus square root of b square minus ac divided by 2. Sorry, 2 will get cancelled, right? This 2. Now this is a dy by dx equals to function of xy. So this may be a homogeneous case. This may be a linear second or first order PD. First order differential equation. This or you may solve by taking the help of exact differential equation method, whatever. Okay, so with plus sign you will have one solution. With minus sign you have another solution. Okay, so two solutions will be there. Maybe they both are equal, but in what case it will be equal? Whenever this discriminant is 0. So b square minus ac is 0 means whenever this equation is parabolic. So in that case you have two solutions, they are equal. Okay, so that need to be addressed separately. Otherwise, in any case, when you have b square minus ac is greater than 0 means you are dealing with a hyperbolic PD. If you have b square minus ac is less than 0, okay, you are dealing with the elliptic PD. Now, in the hyperbolic PD, the things are fine because you will be obtaining a real solution because we are interested in a real solution. When you are talking about the elliptic PD, b square minus ac is less than 0. So you may lead with the complex number. Okay, plus minus I will come. Okay, but you are not interested in a complex solution. You are interested in a real solution. So how to handle that? That also we will now see. Okay, right. So the solution of characteristic equations are called characteristics of above PDs. That's fine. Okay. Now, if PD is hyperbolic, so the canonical form of PDs, above PDs can be found by using the following transformation. So I told you, for the case of hyperbolic, there is no problem. You are obtaining the real solutions. So one solution V you can call and another solution W you can call as psi. Okay, right. If PD is parabolic, okay, then one of them is, because phi and C are equal in that case, right? You will obtain only one solution. So one of the variable W is equals to some phi of xy or C of xy. Another variable is V equals to X. If you recall, uh, if you recall this, if you know the one solution, okay, finding another solution. Okay, so what you have done? You have taken, I think, not that. Okay, if you, if suppose the roots are repeated, okay, if you recall, in the auxiliary equation, if you have, let's say, m equals to 1 comma 1, two roots are equal. So then how did you write the final solution? Is one solution is e to the power x, another solution is x times e to the power x. So that independent. Okay. So somehow this is also related here. Okay. So one of the transformation is taken v equals to x only. Okay. Identity transformation. And another is w equals to either phi or c. In the case of parabolic, when you have equal. Now, if PD is elliptic, as I told you, you will be possibly obtaining complex one. So you can take the sum of them, divide by 2, and you can take the difference of them, divide by 2i. What is I is that complex number square root of minus 1. So these transformation, so you have now the way of identifying the transformation, which will transform the original PD into its corresponding canonical form. So let's deal with the wave equation. Okay, so let's have this. Okay, if you recall wave equation, that is utt equals to c square uxx. Okay, so I may write in direct way. Okay, let me minus c square uxx equals to 0. So you can write in, means you can take t as x, and or let me, you may write c square uxx minus utt equals to 0. So a equals to c square, b equals to 0, and c equals to minus 1. Okay, and you are having characteristic equation is a y dash square plus not plus minus 2by dash plus c equals to 0. Okay, so this implies c square y dash square minus 1 equals to 0. This implies y dash square is equals to 1 by c square, right? So c is a real number. So this implies y dash equals to plus minus 1 by c. Okay, right? Y dash equals to plus minus 1 by c. Now you have the solution now. So y here is not y. We have to, because okay, fine. So what you will have is, if you integrate, finding solution is easy now. Okay, so y is equals to plus minus 1 by cx. Okay, so if you go back and check, replace y equals to t. Okay, replace y equals to t. So one of them is, you have one of the phi of this will give you phi of x comma y is equals to you have x minus c x, if you take with the plus sign, you have x minus cy, that is cy, and if you take with the minus sign, you will be having x plus cy. So you have the final right? V equals to phi of x comma t, and W is equals to psi of x comma t. They will be the they will transform it into a canonical form. This is now x minus ct. This is equals to x plus ct. And you have already seen, so I'm not going to derive that. So if you use this, you are going to obtain this equation, which is easy to solve and which will lead to the D'Alembert solution. Okay. Right. So now, similarly, you can also now go for heat equation. Okay. Heat equation is C square Uxx is equals to Ut. Okay. Now, this is going to be a y dash, not y dash. Okay, let me do this. Y dash square minus 2b y dash plus c equals to 0. Now, if you compare a c square y dash square minus 2b is, this is 0, and c is also 0, that is equals to 0. So this is implies y dash square is 0. Okay, so this will implies y dash is also 0. This implies y equals to some constant, some arbitrary constant C1, any arbitrary constant. Okay, so so that arbitrary constant you can choose as 1. Okay, so this will imply, so P of x comma y is equals to C of x comma y, that is equals to 1 minus y or y minus 1. Okay, so the transformation V equals to, and first because it's a parabolic one, so V equals to x and W equals to P of x comma t. So that's going to be t minus 1. Okay. So now, again, now you will have, now again you will proceed in a similar manner. So u of x comma t is equals to, okay. So I just ut, okay. You have to treat u as a function of v and w now. So u v vt plus uw wt. So vt is 0. So you have this wt is 1. So uw. Okay. And what is ux is uv dx plus uw wx. So wx is 0, vx is 1. So that's going to be uv. Now, if you find uxx now, so what it is, uv v vx plus uv w wx. Okay, so wx is 0, so vx is 1, so uvv. So you're not getting a new equation, you are getting a same equation. Okay, that's already in its canonical form. Okay, which you have to solve in same manner. Okay, for Laplace equation, again you can also proceed in the Laplace's equation in a similar manner. That's a uxx plus uyy equals to 0. Okay, so if you look at a is equals to 1, okay, b equals to 0, and c equals to 1. So characteristic equation is 1 time y dash square minus 2 times 0 y dash plus c, that is 1 equals to 0. So what you have is y dash square equals to y dash square plus 1 equals to 0. This implies y dash equals to plus minus I. Okay. So this will imply, if you integrate it, this is going to be y equals to plus minus ix. Now, one solution is psi of x comma y is equals to One solution is y plus ix, another solution is y minus ix. One is y plus ix, another side phi of x comma y, another is y minus ix. Now, one transformation is y c plus v divided by 2. So if you sum up, okay, so you have, this is going to be 2y divided by 2, that is y. And when you difference, w is equals to psi minus v by 2i. So if you difference, what you will get is 2ix divided by 2i, that will get cancelled, is x. So v is y and w is x. So what will happen? So this is already in its canonical form. Again, uxx and uyy, if you get again going to get, that's going to be same thing. Okay, they are already in its canonical form. Okay, so only Laplace equation was lacking about it. Okay, right. Yes, if you have any question, you can ask.
We are choosing transformation like this. That's why it is
Yes.
coming like.
Yes. See, it completely based on its prototype. Okay, also, right? Because if you go back and check, this Laplace equation is of elliptic type. Okay, so elliptic type, that's why you are getting the imaginary solution. Okay, if you are having the heat equation, it is a parabolic type. Okay, it's of parabolic type. So this is why you are getting equal solution. That's a constant. That's one here you are getting. In the wave equation, you have a hyperbolic case. So these are very special type of equations. So see, I told you that wave equation right now it's not in its canonical form. Its canonical form is this. But heat equation and Laplace equation are already readily available in their canonical form. If you again go and find out its canonical form, you are getting the same equation. Okay. So you may choose another transformations, you may go for another type of transformation, but that may not be given treated as a canonical form. Canonical form has some specific way of finding it. Okay. So see, other equations that means I will try to find out some examples and will give you, okay, where some of the equation may lead to the Laplace equation in the canonical form, in its canonical form. Some of the equation may lead to the heat equation. Some of the equation may lead to the wave equation in its canonical form. Okay, so they will either fall in one of them when you are dealing with a quasi-linear second order PDE. Okay, right. Any other question? Okay, then I think time is not there much. So we cannot start with that new topic Fourier transform, but that's a very small topic again. Okay. So it's only extending the concept of Fourier integral. So if you come up with your revision with respect to Fourier integral, it will be very easy to understand. Okay, Fourier transform. We are only going to defining the Fourier transform, and then we will try to see its application in solving the PDEs. Okay. Right. So we can close here. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes.
since there was a request regarding the project.
Project. Okay.
Sir, can you please make it handwritten, because if we have to type in LaTeX or like something like that, then it will be difficult to write differential equations and integrals, because there will be so much integration differentiation. So it will be
See,
better if we can
see,
write about it.
Kashyap, this you may think like that this time is a hard work or whatever, but this is the time where we can train you. Okay, so you means you means this is uh, I I personally feel that this is the time where you can learn either type in LaTeX. So that's why I have not restricted the LaTeX. Okay, I have given you the opportunity for writing in the MS Word as well. Okay, of course, it will take time. I know it will take time. Okay, so but for that case, I may extend it for 2 or 3 days more. Okay, but the report should be in this time, because last time I have somehow relaxed. Okay, I felt that okay, this is a first semester. They may not be aware, they may not be writing, or they may not be using. Okay, if you need a LaTeX workshop, I may give you an overview how to write in LaTeX. Okay, MS Word tutorials are available in YouTube. Okay, try to learn,
Okay, sir.
accept challenges. Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so it will help you in writing a project report in future as well. Okay, yeah, maybe in the next year onwards you will be engaged in some of the projects with some of the supervisors, and also they will expect you to learn before these things as soon as possible. Okay, right, so try to learn that. Okay, right, any other thing? Okay, then thank you.
Thank you, sir.